Good morning from Manaus. We are just waiting to be picked up because we are going on the most exciting excursion for the next couple days in the Amazon rainforest.
That's right, over the next 3 days and 2 nights, we are being taken into the heart of the Amazon jungle with a bunch of excursions booked, and we are so excited.
Let's head out.
After a 25-minute drive, we're now at Ceasa port, however it's pronounced. We're at the port and we're waiting for our boat to take us into the Amazon jungle.
After 2.5 hours, we have now arrived to our campsite, or should I say glamp site, because they're full-on buildings with air conditioning.
It was definitely a multi-stage process to get here though, so we started off on the ferry that took us across the Amazon River, but at the same time we also got to see the meeting of the two waters, which is between the Rio Negro and the Rio Solimões, which means that you get to see this amazing contrast between basically kind of black and white water. Really, really cool.
And after that, we drove on land for maybe 45 minutes to an hour, and I was absolutely shocked at how populated it was and how much infrastructure there was. I thought it would be so much more remote.
But then we got that kind of experience that we were expecting when we then got on the final boat to then get to here, which took us basically through the river, through the jungle, and to me it was much more reminiscent of going to Tortuguero in Costa Rica. If you haven't seen that video, go check it out, it was awesome.
But now that we're here, we're going to show you around, and then it is time for lunch.
Lunch was excellent. It turned out to be a buffet style, and you had rice, spaghetti, fish, chicken, beans, and salad as options. More than enough for you to feel very full afterwards, so absolutely delicious.
It is coming up on 2 o'clock, and we have been informed that we are actually heading into the jungle at about 3:30, and apparently that's where we're sleeping tonight. According to the itinerary we were given, I was under the impression that we were sleeping here at this glamp site and then doing excursions from here, but apparently that's not what's happening. However, it all sounds great, so we're just gonna roll with it and see what happens. After a short boat ride, we walked to the camp.
The first thing that our guides did was start a fire. We were shown the type of wood that would be used to make kindling, as well as the larger logs that should be added once the fire begins.
Next up, our guides demonstrated how to create a bowl out of banana leaves.
While the guides started cooking some rice, we were also shown how to carve a spoon out of wood with just a machete. We were blown away by the ingenuity and just how much craftsmanship can be possible even with the most basic tools.
They also wove some crowns for the ladies in the camp, and I wore mine proudly.
The guides then put some chicken on the fire before showing us how to set up our hammocks, where we would be sleeping for the night.
We spotted some macaws in the trees, so we were guided to observe them in their resplendent colors.
Then, as the sun went down, it was time for sleep.
Good morning from the Amazon rainforest. It is just 6 a.m. and how did you sleep?
I had no idea how I was going to sleep, given that that was my first ever time in a hammock, but you know what? It was more comfortable than I was expecting. Despite that though, then sleeping was just a challenge. Everybody got in their hammocks around 7:30ish, so it was a bit difficult to drift off in the first place. But I do think that that was probably the most amount of sleep I got during that time. Woke up again at probably about 3, and then it was kind of just on and off, dozing beyond that point, not least because I then realised that half the camp snores. So that wasn't the best. But you know what? It could be worse. First time camping in the middle of a rainforest, first time sleeping in a hammock. So really that was what we were going for, and it was still fun. What about you?
It was also my first time sleeping in a hammock, and just like Nick said, I had difficulties. I think I've identified 3 reasons. One, because we tried to go to sleep at 7:30, which was just way too early. 2, half the camp snores. And also, for me, I am a stomach sleeper, and obviously in a hammock, you can't sleep on your stomach. You can only sleep on your back and your side. However, I will say that the hammock is comfortable. Like, it's way better than sleeping in a sleeping bag on a tarp or a thin mat. So I think that I would have been able to sleep had we just gone to bed a few hours later and if no one was snoring.
Agreed. I think actually if ever we go camping again, I'd have half a mind to go and like invest in a hammock over sleeping bags and all that kind of jazz, because it seems like just a much more comfortable setup.
I actually totally agree. You're off the ground, there's no critters around, and we had mosquito nets, so it was a good setup, I actually feel.
Yeah, definitely. But now I think once everybody's stirred, then the intention is to go and grab some breakfast. So let's crack on with the day. Bye camp, it's been fun.
It's 7:30 and we have just got back to the lodge. We have to be quite quick because we have another tour starting in half an hour and I feel absolutely disgusting.
Same.
I'm so sticky with sweat, bug spray, and sunscreen. But I have mixed impressions. Was it cool to spend the night in the jungle? Yeah, just because it's the Amazon jungle. So it was awesome. But at the same time, it wasn't on our itinerary. And I'm wondering if something is being bumped off of that to have made room for this. And in the end, I still wouldn't probably have chosen this because I didn't sleep well. And it was also just camping. There was nothing associated with it, like animal spotting or bird watching or an informative talk. So I'm kind of meh about it, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah, it was all a little bit weird. We kind of just got told at random that we would, with this particular tour guide who decided to do this particular itinerary, and I was never under the impression that that was even an option. And I think had we had the choice, I think we'd have opted to maybe do something different, because I, like Rachel, was kind of imagining that there might have been some kind of nature walk or something like that on the other side when we actually got to the camp. And it was odd just because we were kind of also not really informed as we went along as to what the plan really was. It kind of just felt like we got to the camp and then it was like, okay, we're here now what? So it was a bit weird, but all the same, obviously really amazing to be here doing such a incredibly unique thing. It's just I'm not sure if that would be the unique thing that I would have intentionally initially gone for, but you know, it is what it is. And for today at least, it seems like the excursions that we have planned are much more in line with what we were expecting.
Yeah, it sounds like the one that we're doing in half an hour's time is the one I had expected to do yesterday afternoon according to the itinerary. And I also want to say the other thing is that, not to be too complaining, but I did put down my dietary requirements and they weren't fulfilled, which meant that last night I had plain rice for dinner. And this morning, this went for everybody. Our breakfast was bread and butter. We were specifically told when we got back here, don't go to the restaurant because you've had breakfast at the campsite and everyone else is having breakfast here. So
yeah,
just a little disappointing on the food front, which is a shame because lunch was amazing. So now I'm really looking forward to our future meals, which should all be back here.
Exactly. Bit of a weird start, but it sounds like there's a lot of really good stuff to look forward to. So we're super excited for it. We're going to get ready now, and then we'll show you what we get up to in the next video. So until next time, take care.
And keep smiling.